to Real Horror Case Files, where I, Salva, tell you all about the most horrific and terrifying true crime and paranormal stories from around the world. And joining me, as always, is my co-host, Chantal.
Hello.
How how goes it? How are
It
you?
goes. It
It
goes.
goes.
Yeah,
um, yeah, it
it goes.
it goes. It goes.
Yeah.
What can
For
we
those of you
say?
who don't know, right now the most horrifying thing in my life is the amount of assignments I have to do for school. Um, but
Chantal
yeah,
is back at it.
yeah, almost there. So I'm
I need
excited
to
to.
readjust.
I don't even know what we're going to be talking about today. I just showed up.
That is, I honestly would prefer it that way.
Okay. I
Yeah.
literally don't remember. I know you told me at one point, but I don't remember what it is, so
You know
I just
what?
showed up.
It's great if you don't know because then that way you'll be like more terrified.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna tell you what it
We
is
need
right now, but
we all need a little bit of horror in our lives, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. Today we are going to be talking about a entity,
Okay.
object.
Okay.
Um, we're gonna we're I'm gonna tell you about Annabelle.
Oh, I love that movie.
I'm
I
I'm
like those
glad you
movies.
do. I'm glad you do. I'm glad you
I know you
find
don't, but I like
no,
them.
no, no. For those of you who don't know, I love the whole learning about paranormal stuff and you know, the whole true side of everything. I don't like horror movies. I think they're just like so overdone. And I mean, there's
Oh,
there's
I love
there's
them. I don't think they're overdone. I
I
love
just
them.
don't like getting scared.
You're a scaredy cat.
I'm a wuss. What can I say?
Don't worry, I'll protect you.
Oh, thanks. Thank you. All right, so let's get
If
right
it's
into yeah,
real quickly, if it makes you
yeah,
feel any better, The Nun 2 just came out, which is
it
part
did.
of the Conjuring
Yeah.
movie, I guess,
Did
world.
you see the
But
trailer
did
for that
you
new
see
Exorcist movie?
no, but okay, hold on.
Oh, okay, sorry, go ahead.
Before we move on, did you see all the memes where people put Taylor Swift's Anti-Hero in the background of the nun when the nun stood up? It was so funny. They just had
Hi,
Taylor
it's
Swift in,
me.
but not that part. It was the part where it was like the climax, I think it was.
Okay, I gotta watch it. I
And
haven't seen these.
like she was standing up and I don't know Taylor Swift song, so it could not be that song. Um, but she was like the nun was standing up and
Yeah,
it was like this whole thing and it made it seem like the nun was like being empowered and that the nun was in the right and like I was just laughing so hard
that
because
is
like
so funny.
I was like, bro, this nun's about to decimate all of them and then like oh, it was the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in my life.
That is so funny.
Anyways.
Yeah, anyways,
I have not seen the trailers of the new Exorcist movie.
it's a sequel to the original Exorcist movie. By the way, there's going to be an episode on that at some point because that's
Ooh.
based off of a true story. Um that's really fucked up. I'm going to just say that right now. Um
I mean, most horror things
yeah,
have some
yeah.
sort of, you know,
Um yeah. Anyways, with that being said, I don't think I gotta be honest, it's been a while since I've read these notes. I don't think there's a trigger warning to be had here, but I mean, I'm just gonna
I
like
mean,
put
with
it
most
out
horror,
there.
use your own discretion.
Yeah, use your own discretion. Obviously, if you're letting your 5-year old watch and or listen to this, that's on you, bro. That's on you. This is definitely not we are not responsible and we
For
will not
any nightmares.
yeah. Yeah. We're not responsible for anything that your
Our own
child
or yours.
yeah, really. So with that being said, let's get into. Oh, did I freeze? Oh no, I didn't freeze. With that being
Nope,
said, let's get into today's story.
I'm excited.
So, in the 1970s, and by the way, I got this information from a book called, I have to get the title of the book and I'll put it in the show notes, but it was a collection of like the most haunted dolls in the world. And so most of the information that I got um from this story is from that book, plus other like wiki and all that stuff.
Okay.
Um yeah. So in the 1970s, Donna, a nursing student, received a Raggedy Ann doll from her mother for her 28th birthday. Now, Chantal, I don't know about
Um,
you,
I
but
have a Raggedy Ann doll.
yeah, I know.
It's actually the
So
exact
here's the
same
thing,
one.
like so the movie, it's like a
Creepy ass doll,
porcelain.
like porcelain, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a porcelain doll that's definitely weathered over time. But the real Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll, which if you've seen
Yeah.
pictures of this doll, it's in like pristine condition. It's like flawless.
Yeah, so I have a Raggedy Ann doll that's in pristine condition that you've actually slept with in that guest bedroom. It's been in the
So
closet.
one day, I was at Chantal's house sleeping over, and it was just the two of us in the house. And
Yeah.
she brings me to the guest bedroom, and she's like, "This is where you're gonna sleep for the night." And you go, and then you go, "Oh, and by the way, there's the Annabelle Raggedy Ann doll in the closet." And then you left. You left me there, and I was like, "Excuse me, the fuck,
Um,
pardonnez-moi, what?"
yeah. Yeah, this was before I knew you hated horror, but like to hear about horror.
Yeah, like
I was like, "Oh, this is an interesting thing she'll like to know about." And then she was like, excuse me, you're removing this doll right now."
yeah, 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 yeah.
I had to
But
reassure her,
it
to be
was
like, "Don't worry, it's not haunted."
it was
That we know
fine.
of.
Everything was fine. It was all good.
It
But
didn't try to choke you in the middle of the night or, kill you or
well, we're gonna get there, Chantel. Anyway, so she got the doll from her mom for her 28th birthday. And her mom found the doll at a local hobby store. I'm assuming there's no word on whether the doll was new or if it was used. There was
I would
no,
assume it was used if it
yeah.
had something attached to it.
We'll get into the theories later. So Donna, she loved the doll. It was, I mean, it's a regular,
Mm.
they're pretty cute. Shoot, they're
They
pretty
are
cute
cute, and it was
dolls.
a gift from her mom too,
Yeah, so I
like
mean, if I was gonna give, actually, I will say, as a child, people would gift me like China dolls, and my mom would
mm.
put them on my dresser in front of me when I was sleeping.
Oh, I
And
had a few that were I had a really, really, limited edition, like, Barbie doll that my mom had set up, and then right beside it was, like, a,
mm-hmm,
porcelain doll as well, and then beside that was, like, an old, like, it wasn't a Raggedy Ann doll, but it was, like, something similar.
yeah, but I mean, I made my mom. I was terrified of them, and I made my mom put a garbage bag over their heads so that I could sleep at night in peace.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. That would've
Yeah.
scared me even more having a garbage bag over these dolls.
Yeah, anyways, so Donna, she loved the doll and she placed it on her bed. And all was fine for a while. Everything was normal as you would expect. But then Donna and her roommate Angie started noticing little things here and there. So,
Okay.
Donna usually left the doll sitting with its legs outstretched in front of it, and its arms at its side. So basically in like a
Mhm.
sitting position. But then when they came back to the apartment, the doll was sitting with its legs crossed and its arms on its lap.
That's a little bit creepy, okay.
So then they decided to test it and see, okay, like what maybe one of us is moving it and we just didn't realize it, that like
Mhm.
maybe we picked up the doll and just placed it down, whatever it is. They wanted to debunk it, so they said one morning they were going to set the doll with its legs and arms crossed,
Mhm.
and then when they came back they were uncrossed.
Oh, okay, so it was doing the opposite of whatever position they were putting it in.
Yes. Now keep in mind,
Interesting.
like they're both nursing students, so they're not in the
Rational.
apartment. Yes, they're both rational. They're not in the apartment during the day. You know what I
Ye
mean?
Oh,
Like
yeah, that's true. Because
chances
that
are they probably have the same classes, and so
yeah.
they leave the apartment together and then they come back to the apartment together. So they soon started to find the doll in different areas of the apartment.
Okay, it's starting to
So
move.
it's starting to move more than just its arms and legs. The doll would be found on the sofa, even though Donna left it in her room with the door closed. Like, that
Mm,
was one of the things, like, she would be so adamant about leaving the door closed in her room, but then when she would come back, the doll would be out of the room, the door would be open, in a completely different place in the house.
okay, that's creepy.
One time, they found it kneeling on a chair by the front door, as if it was waiting for them.
I Oh god, yeah,
But here's the thing though, like it's a Raggedy Ann doll. How does it kneel?
but that's the thing. I was like, how like okay, so the first signs of it moving, regardless of if I thought it was my friend moving it or not, it would no longer be with me in my apartment. like okay, so the first one, the cross-legged, okay, like you could probably explain that, forgetting to that you lifted it and put it down and it just happened to land there naturally.
Yeah.
But after doing like a test and like it moving and then the first time it's not like where I left it, that's it. It's gone. It's out. It's outside, no longer with me, not my
Yes.
issue, not my problem. It's gone. I'm never seeing it again.
Until it comes back. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no, until I take it to the church and leave it there.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, so it's like it's a Raggedy Ann doll. So how is it kneeling?
Yeah, because it doesn't have a lot of
It doesn't have like it's not like a Barbie doll where you
support.
can bend the knees and then
Yeah, it's a
sit it
raggedy.
down.
This is
Yeah.
literally in the name,
It's
raggedy.
stuffed. It's stuffed with stuffing.
Yeah, and it's not
So,
like its joints are stiff where you can, like, because like, you know how some teddy bears have really stiff joints where it will
mhm.
sit up if because the joints are so stiff? This is not like that, it's very floppy, it's
They
raggedy.
are. Yeah, they're Raggedy Ann dolls. They're floppy. Um, the doll would start to leave messages around the apartment for them to find when they came back.
I would I Bruh, that's really messed up.
Yeah,
I I would, like I would move. I would leave the doll there and move. I would move,
yeah.
okay?
So would I. I'd burn it,
Yeah.
and that would be the end of it.
Yeah, I'd,
Um,
like I'd yeah, I'd just move. I'd be like, "This is not right."
do you want to know what was written on it?
Oh god, yeah, okay, tell me.
Okay,
I
so
wanna know, I need to know.
written on the parchment paper, which
Okay,
so here's the thing, like they didn't own parchment paper. It was specifically parchment paper, which like
okay.
it's a
That's a
different type
weird
of
thing
paper.
that's a weird thing to not own. I have so much parchment paper.
Well, I think it's like back this is the 70s. So I
I
think
guess
back
it's true.
then it's it
Not as
may
available.
yeah, right?
Okay.
And I mean, I'm sure they had notebooks rather than
Parchment paper, yeah,
like
sure.
loose parchment paper. Um, but that was something that they had noted that they didn't own. Um, written on the parchment paper in children's handwriting, um, the messages said, "Help us." So,
I, I would leave.
so,
So, the writing in children's handwriting, that's kinda creepy.
but it's like so specific. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it I don't know what to tell you.
Could you imagine if this was just, like, a really long, elaborate prank that went too far and, like, nobody wanted to say that it was a prank that went too far?
Well, they thought that someone was breaking in and playing jokes on them.
Ah. I mean, to be fair, that's probably what I would think too.
Yeah. So
I
so
would still get rid of everything and move,
yeah.
but
So they would leave marks on the doors and the windows and arrange the rugs in a certain way so that when they came back, if someone was in the apartment, um, they would notice whether or not the marks were disturbed or not.
Mhm.
So they at this point, when they did do this test, they found the doll in Donna's room, much to their relief. But when they looked closer, the doll had blood on the back of its hand and 3 drops of blood on its chest.
Whose blood?
We don't know.
Well, I need answers.
I wish I knew. I
That
wish I could
is
provide you with these answers, but
there's so many red flags in this situation where I would have been gone so quickly.
yeah,
Not gonna lie. Like, even if I thought it was one of my neighbors breaking in and playing a joke, I would move and be
yeah.
gone.
But you also have to keep in mind this took place in the 70s and DNA testing is
It wasn't
not
really a
it
thing.
wasn't it was almost non-existent. Like it was
Mhm.
just starting to become what it is now.
Yeah.
So even if they did send the doll in for tests, like I don't know how they would
Yeah, that
probably
would
be like,
be
I can't we can't do this. We don't know how to do like whose blood it is. We don't know.
well, could you imagine the chaos of a haunted doll being sent for forensic testing?
Oh my God. It would it would I don't know. I feel like it would give the doll some kind of energy.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, I feel like it would move things in the lab, and the people in the lab tend to be a lot more scientific, so they'd probably be
Mhm.
like, "Eh, we're just tired."
Yeah, they would brush it off cuz
They probably see a demon, like, in front of them and be like, "Eh, we're just tired. It's just my eyes playing tricks on me,"
yeah.
and
Yeah.
ignore it.
Um yeah, so they that's the way that they found the doll.
Mhm.
So having enough, they reached out to a medium who told them that a little girl named Annabelle Higgins had died on the property before the apartment was built
Oh god.
and the spirit chose their apartment because they felt comfortable around Donna and Angie. I guess maybe because they felt like maybe they were more of a motherly figure. Like they're 2 girls, maybe she felt more comfortable with the 2 girls. And they could understand her better than anyone else.
Whenever little girl spirits get brought into things, I'm always like, "I don't think it's a little girl."
So, the
Like
medium,
like,
yeah,
without any historical proof of children passing away on the property or being present on the property, um, I don't believe that it is an actual child.
it's yeah, yeah.
Especially because, like, I'm sure you've watched a lot of ghost shows, and I've watched a lot of ghost shows, um, but, it's never like, whenever they're like, "Oh, yeah, there's a little girl who may or may not be a demon," every single time,
Yeah.
because they're like, "There's no proof that any child actually lived on the property or passed away on the property, so and
Or
there's a dark
it's like,
entity here
yeah,
who is disguising itself as a child."
it's it's definitely yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where like I feel like cuz people are so more compassionate towards children and
Mhm.
that's why they pose as children like, "Oh yeah, of course we're going to open up to you." Like
Yeah.
I feel like you died really young, so let me hear your story. Let me like help you as much as I can. Like let me welcome you here.
Mhm.
Um and but and it's not a child. It's
Yeah.
something else. I wouldn't even call it a spirit. It's something else entirely.
I agree.
Yeah. So the medium had actually said that the what the girl told her, what Annabelle Higgins told her, was that she moved into the doll to get their attention.
I mean, that does seem like something a child would do.
But that's the thing, like
But
they play mind games with you.
yeah, but if I was a demon pretending to be a child, that's what I would do as well.
Yeah, like they play mind games with you. So
Mhm.
it's at this point it knows that the girls are vulnerable.
If you guys hear a growling, that was my tummy. That was not a demon.
Oh my
Sorry, I
god.
heard I heard my stomach growl through the mic, and you
That was
just kept
great.
going, so I wasn't sure if you heard it or not, but
That was
they might.
fantastic. Hey, I'm gonna turn this light on and see if this
Oh
helps
my.
with the. Oh my god, it does. She asked to move into the doll and stay with them,
Oh no.
Annabelle.
Oh no. That's when you say no.
And Donna and Angie agreed, feeling bad for the spirit, and started calling the
Oh,
doll Annabelle.
oh no.
Yep, yep,
Ah.
yep, yep, yep.
Um,
See, this is where things start to really go bad.
okay.
As soon as you recognize that it's there, and as soon as you welcome it in,
Yeah.
that is when it's the most powerful.
Yeah.
That's when it starts to get the most powerful.
Yeah.
And it's like time and time again with all of these cases that we will eventually get to, that's how it happens a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it's yeah, anyways, but this is that's what happened. So Don and Angie said, "Yeah, sure. Like, I mean, we're all girls here. Let's tag along, you know?"
Yeah.
So, Annabelle did not like Angie's fiance Lou,
Oh no. I can see this going bad.
and even Lou didn't feel comfortable with the dolls at all,
Well, I guess that
saying
would I guess that would make sense because he's like
he's the male
I
figure.
mean, he's I was gonna say he's a male figure, but I guess female figures can be, like, powerful and protective of himself as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, I feel like I mean, especially in the '70s, a lot more male figures were seen more as
Yeah,
protectors, right?
yeah. So, he even said that it was evil and told them to get rid of it on multiple occasions.
Green flags. What is his name? Lou?
Lou,
Lou has green flags all around.
he's the smart one in this
He's
situation.
he gets it. He understands.
He truly is a smart one.
I would get off
Um,
my crazy train and be like,
yeah,
"You know what, Lou? You're right. Let me get rid of this. Let me get rid of it."
yeah.
Yeah.
So Annabelle starts to really do some damage to Lou. Lou
Oh,
starts to have recurring nightmares about the doll, um, and it's not good.
oh,
It's not
poor Lou.
good.
It's attacking him because he wants them to get rid of it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Ah,
yeah. One night Lou was in a deep sleep,
mhm,
and had an out of body experience.
mhm,
And he remembers seeing himself wake up and just feel that something was wrong. Not
mhm,
something was off. So when he looked at the foot of the bed,
mhm,
he saw this is so fucking creepy. He saw the doll um moving towards him.
mhm,
The doll moved over his chest and stopped at his neck where
mhm.
it began to strangle him.
Okay.
Keep in mind this is him having an out of
Is
body experience.
but is he watching this happen outside of his body, or is he, like, inside his
Yes.
body watching it
Yeah,
happen?
like he said that he remembers seeing himself wake up and feel something was wrong. Well, actually,
So
maybe he just like he he
So it was
just
kind of
woke
like
up.
sleep paralysis.
I think so. I think that's what this was.
Okay, but
Um,
here's the thing, because I mean, I get sleep paralysis all
you
the
do,
time. So
yes.
whenever people talk about sleep paralysis in a haunting situation, I'm always very skeptical because I have so much experience with sleep paralysis. A lot of the times when you wake up, because you're still technically asleep, like your brain is like you're awake, but your whole
You're,
body still thinks you're asleep.
yeah,
It feels like somebody's choking you.
yeah.
That's what it feels like. So
My
like
dad,
it's not it's like even because like anywhere, it doesn't matter where I am, if I get sleep paralysis, it always feels like someone's choking you, and that's just
yeah.
because like you're breathing you're not breathing as deeply
No,
as you
like
do
you're in a
when you're awake.
slumber. Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So like it always does feel like that. It can also feel like you got like somebody scratching you down your back, even
yeah,
though it's not happening. And because you're like asleep, technically, um like you're in a sleep like state, you can hallucinate things if you open up your eyes.
yeah.
Like, I mean, all the time. Like one time I opened up my eyes and I saw a baby doll knocking out my window, but I don't think that was, yeah. But then
I
I
got
woke up the
chills.
next morning and I was like, "Oh, that was weird." Because it
You're
was
like,
just
It's a normal
well,
house, normal night for me."
I'm used to it by now. I mean, one time Casper was in my, like, bedroom, like, that was weird, but it was like an
A
inflatable
friendly
Casper.
ghost?
Yeah.
Oh,
But it was an inflatable, it wasn't even, like, the real thing, and then, like,
oh, okay.
when I, like, snapped out of the sleep paralysis, it was gone, and I was like, "Oh, I just opened my eyes because I was stupid and decided to open my eyes while having sleep paralysis," and, of course, that's what I saw because I was technically dreaming. So, a lot of the times when people talk about sleep paralysis, I'm always, like, a little bit skeptical because 'cause I'm like,
Mhm.
you can see a lot of weird things if you open your eyes." You know, the
Yeah,
sleep paralysis demon.
yeah.
But at the same time, it could just be that he was so stressed and having such bad vibes about, Annabelle, that during his sleep paralysis,
That's
these
what
are
he
the things that he
pictured.
saw, yeah,
Yeah.
but it could also be real. It's hard to say because I'm always so skeptical about things with sleep paralysis.
Well, Chantal,
I
I
know it's
have
gonna get worse.
I
I'm
haven't
ready.
finished. The doll moved over his chest and started strangling him.
Yeah.
He tried to get away, but he felt like um he was pushing a concrete wall and struggled until he passed out.
Okay, but that's kind of like what happens during sleep paralysis. You
Yeah.
can't really move. It feels like you're being pushed down by something.
And in the morning there was no evidence that the doll had even strangled him. But he was convinced that it did happen, and it only made him more persistent about getting rid of the doll.
Here's my thought. I think he was so stressed about it that he hallucinated it and had this
Mm-hmm.
sleep paralysis attack. Um, but I also think that it was part of his own intuition, like warning him that there was something wrong with this doll.
Yeah,
Like, I don't know because I mean, it's sleep paralysis. It's very hard to say whether it's
because it's
paranormal or
different for
not.
everyone, right?
And
Like it's
it is different for everybody, and, it does happen a lot more often when you're stressed,
yes.
and it gets more intense when you're stressed.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like he was just really stressed, and it was his own intuition warning him
Yeah,
about the doll,
yeah,
and that his, like, own subconscious was like, "Red flags, you need to get on this and get rid of this doll because there's something not right about it." But
yeah.
also it could have happened too. But I'm always very skeptical about sleep paralysis stuff, as
Yeah,
you know. I
yeah.
always say it all the time. I'm always like, "It's
Well,
just sleep
and you know what?
paralysis."
It's good to have that mindset too because it helps you debunk a lot of these things.
Yeah,
Because
and
you're not so adamant about thinking, "Oh yeah, it was this, it was that." But
yeah,
like
because, like, a
you're more
lot of
rational.
a lot of paranormal stories will be like, "Yeah, I was in bed and I felt something pushing down on me and I couldn't get up and I couldn't scream." And I'm like, "That's just sleep paralysis, and if you open your eyes, you're gonna see stuff. That's just the nature of sleep paralysis.
Yep.
That's why you never open your eyes when you have sleep paralysis." But it's just like, and then they'll be like, and then just like that, I snapped out of it. That's what happens during sleep paralysis. You can
Yeah,
go
you just
from
have to
having
remind
it,
yourself to wake up.
well, you could just go from having it to 1 second to suddenly being awake because your brain realizes that you're conscious.
Yeah.
That's just kind of like what happens. So I'm always skeptical for sleep paralysis stuff, but then everything else, I'm like, oh, that's totally a ghost.
Yeah. Everything else, like it could
It's
be
the
the
only thing
draft, the
for
window was
me, it's
open,
the
but
only thing that I'm pretty much always skeptical about
but
is
I
sleep
think for you,
paralysis, but
like
then
you know what sleep paralysis is because you
yeah,
experience it. So
so
for
often.
you, it's easy for you to say, well, that was just sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
But for someone who's never experienced it
Here's it
before,
is and it is scary if you've
like
never experienced it before.
I'll say
I
this
mean, I
when
still get scared about it when I have
yeah,
it
I'll
happen.
say this when my dad was younger, he started getting sleep paralysis and he thought he was being possessed.
Yeah, it does kinda feel like that.
You know, and he went to the at the time nuns were the teachers at the school. So he went to one of the nuns and told her, and she kind of just like, okay, take a seat now. We're just gonna like really think about what you just said there right now. And she told him to go to a priest down the street who actually went to school and studied sleep. I don't know what
Mhm.
kind of doctor that is. I
Yeah, it's
apologize.
yeah.
So my dad went to visit the priest, and the priest told him, "You're just having sleep paralysis. You just have to remind yourself to wake up. It's not
Yeah.
real."
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened with me when I went to my doctor. So I was like, "Yo, like, I wake up, but then I can't move, and I can't scream, and I see things
Yeah.
sometimes, like, what the heck?" And they were just like, "Oh, yeah, it's just sleep paralysis. It's,
Yeah.
like it's nothing overly concerning. You just
Mhm.
gotta, pretty much you'll snap out of it eventually. Just
Yeah.
stay calm." And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Okay,
And that's
cool."
it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the doll did not like that about Lou, that he was still persistent about the getting rid of the doll.
Yeah. I mean, to
So
be fair, if I was living somewhere and someone was like, "Ew, get rid of that thing," I wouldn't be too happy either. I mean, to be fair.
yeah, I mean, I guess. Um, but um, when Lou was talking to Angie about a trip that they were going to take, they started hearing noises coming from Donna's room.
Oh, no.
So Lou went into the room and turned on the lights, but only saw the doll lying in the corner.
I don't know what it is about dolls, like, moving or just not being in the position that you left them, but that's the creepiest thing on the planet. Like, even if you know that they just fell, like, off the bed, or if, like, you hit a table and it falls over, I don't know what it is, but dolls shifting, so creepy.
Yeah, it is.
It
It
makes my
is.
eyes water thinking about it.
So, Lou walks into the room a little more, and he suddenly feels like something's watching him. So he turns around and doubled over in pain as something hot and sharp cut across his torso.
Oh, ouch.
So Angie ran in, saw him in pain, and saw that his shirt was torn and bloody, and blood was running through his fingers. Claw marks were very clearly seen on his chest.
So it wasn't just a scratch, it was like it tore the shirt and his skin?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's how powerful this thing is now.
Yeah, that's not good.
That, yeah. And that's the thing. It you can start to see, okay, at first it was just the doll moving, the
Yeah, and then
little
it was the
things.
writing, and
Then
then
it
it was
now
yeah,
it's
it
the
escalated.
noise, and now it's physical. It's
Yeah.
attacking people now. So, um they were half gone by the next day, and like the claw marks, they had slowly disappeared um throughout the day. And but that was what made Donna and Angie finally see that Annabelle wasn't who it says it was.
Mhm.
Um, they contacted they contacted a priest named Father Lawrence and told him about everything that happened since Donna got the doll. So Father Lawrence believed them, and he contacted his superior to find out what to do. And here's the thing, and there's going to be a case that we're going to talk about in a couple episodes.
Okay.
When it comes to exorcisms,
Oh
whether
god, okay.
it's a exorcism being done on a person or an exorcism being done on a house or an
Mhm.
object, you have to get, I think specifically if you're going to do an exorcism on a person, you have to get clearance from the Vatican to do it.
Yeah. I think I remember hearing that. Yeah.
Um, and we'll get to that in a couple episodes. But his superior, Father Edward, believed that it was more than just a spirit, and so he contacted Ed and Lorraine Warren to assess the case.
Okay.
So this is where the Warrens get involved. So they meet
Yeah.
with Donna, Angie, and Lou, and they concluded that there was a spirit attached to the doll, and it was something demonic.
Yeah, I would have with everything going on, I would have guessed demonic right away.
Yeah. So they,
Especially with the note and then the blood on the doll, I would have I mean, even the moving, I would have been demon.
yeah, yeah. So the entity had tricked them into thinking that it was a little girl in order to accept it. That's the
Mm,
thing. With them accepting it into their apartment or like into their lives is what screwed them over. And
yeah,
that's what sealed the deal to make it more powerful.
yeah.
So, and that's the reason why they told them like this is why everything is being so active is
Mhm.
because you let it into your lives. You accepted it into your lives.
Yeah.
So, usually once entities and spirits are acknowledged, they gain power from that belief and the doll itself is not possessed. That's what they think, but
Okay.
it's but it was hoping to attach itself to one or all of them, especially Lou, since he suspected something more evil was going on,
Oh, my poor
making
man
him
Lou.
the prime target.
Oh, man, poor Lou. He knew something was going on that
Can
was
I
trying to
just
convince the
say
others,
though,
and, like
could you just imagine though, right? Like, this is so terrible to say, right? You know when he was having the sleep paralysis episode?
yeah.
Okay, I could just imagine the demon going with the little doll and going,
Oh, just
It's so terrible to say, but like that's in my
It's
head
I
when
in
I
your
was
head when you
doing
picture
research,
it because you're not in that position. It's just a funny thing to picture.
especially when they said like the doll itself isn't possessed. It's just being moved. And
Yeah,
that's
it's
like
it's like a conduit almost, right? Like
yes, yes, that's the hub of where everything is coming from. But it's not technically possessed. It's not in there.
yeah.
So they
Yeah,
decided to
could you
yeah.
just imagine just seeing the doll just, like, bouncing as it's walking? Like, that would be like
That's literally like when I read that, that's what came to mind. Like
especially
just the
because
little
it's a
toot
raggedy
toot
it's a raggedy
toot
Ann doll.
toot toot toot.
It's not like it's stiff. Like, if it was stiff, it'd be a little bit
It's not.
creepier, but
No,
it's so floppy.
it is. Yeah. So, sorry, I just had to throw it in there because I needed to make this episode a little bit more lighthearted than it is. Anyway, so they decided to do an exorcism. So when Father Edward was done with blessing all of the rooms and each person, Donna asked the Warrens to take the doll with them, and they agreed.
Okay,
Donna, Angie, and Lou were free of the entity, but it was still attached to the doll.
okay.
So now the Warrens have the doll in
Yeah.
their car, driving to their house.
Oh god. Okay. Oh god. I feel something happened
So,
coming.
I mean, I haven't seen the movie, but remember in the movie where they have the doll in the backseat of the car?
Yes. Yes.
That's exactly what happened. They had the doll in the backseat of the car,
That was so creepy. Like so much happened while they were driving back home in
and
the
they
movie.
purposely drove on side roads to avoid major accidents on the interstate.
Yeah, I remember that in the movie too.
Yeah. They didn't want to drive where there was going to be a lot of cars or a lot of people because if something happened, at least it would just be them.
They're so considerate.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's like it's scary, but it's like that's really considerate. You know? Like
Well,
if you're
so
trying to keep
yeah.
everybody safe, that's so wow. Go Warrens.
While driving along a curvy road, the car
Oh no. Yeah.
swerved and
Yeah.
stalled, nearly causing them to collide on oncoming traffic. And this happened a couple of times until
Yeah.
Ed got a vial of holy water and tossed it at the doll, and they were able to finally make it home safely.
Oh, I mean, I know they made it home safely because they had many cases after that, but, like, that
They
was so stressful just hearing that, like, I was like,
like
"Will they
that
will they?"
that drive must have been the most stressful drive ever.
For them for especially, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
I
god.
mean, they have
They have a
a
lot of
lot of,
experience.
well, they have a lot of objects.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if of all their objects that they have in their museum, this is
Mhm.
the one object that they have locked in a case.
Isn't it behind, like, church glass or something or blessed
Well,
glass?
I'll get into what it is exactly, but it's the
Okay.
one object that they have behind locked behind a case that nobody's allowed to unlock under any circumstances.
Think about how creepy that is that they've got it so locked up. But think about it this way, right? Because I'm in history.
Hmm.
I'm learning about history, but think about it this way. In, let's say, a couple hundred years, if this story kind of dies off, as some stories do in history, and
I know
someone
where
just
you're
finds the
going with
doll,
this. This is so, no, okay.
will whatever entity is attached to the doll have, like, gain its strength back and then continue haunting?
Because well, we'll get into,
Because, like, I'm assuming that the wood, it's wood, it can eventually erode, the glass can eventually break, something can happen to the museum and
hmm,
the doll gets lost, and then in, like, let's say 400 years, someone finds the doll and then gets haunted. How
I
yeah,
know, Chantal. I'm trying really hard not to think about it right now.
but, I mean, I guess it won't affect us because
We won't be here.
we won't be 427 years old,
Yeah,
426 years old.
yeah.
I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll get bit by a vampire, and I'll be the one to ensure that no one gets haunted by a Raggedy Ann doll. I don't know.
We just need to romance a really hot 200-year-old vampire, high
Vampire.
elf, rogue,
Yeah,
and then it'll happen. I'm on my
exactly.
way to romancing that man.
In Baldur's Gate, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I got to second base with
Anyways,
him though.
these these are the things I think about because 'cause I'm like, "Okay, like, in
But you're
400
right.
years, what's gonna happen to this doll?" Like, I don't think I mean, it could be possible that the Warrens, the family stays within the business for that long, but a lot of the times that doesn't happen.
It doesn't, no, because right now it's their daughter and son-in-law doing it, and I think
Yeah.
their son is also involved.
It's like
Um,
it's like even though you have this family, like, lineage, there's still lots that could happen,
mhm.
right? Like, there's still, like, in a couple hundred years, so much could happen that this family stops, you know, ghosts
All
demonologizing?
Chantal,
I don't know the word for it.
all it will take in 100 years from now is someone dumb enough to read the sign on it that says absolutely no, positively no opening this thing, and opening it and
Well
just being like, well, it's
well,
just a
not even
doll.
that, it could just be something as simple as an accident, like, I don't know, I mean, knock on wood, the museum catching fire and then the doll going missing.
Yeah.
Oh god, I don't wanna think about this anymore.
Do
Remember sorry, it's just so creepy. This is what I think about,
you
I mean,
remember
as you
during
know.
COVID when they said that the
The
doll
doll
had
went on vacation. Do you remember that when Annabelle went on
yeah.
vacation
And
and
then
she
I
was
think
posting to
like
Twitter?
the
It was, like, on
Warren
the beach?
yeah, and then like the Warrens had to the museum put out a statement and be like, she is still locked up here.
Yeah, they had to put out a statement to be like, "Yeah, don't worry. Don't no need to
Everyone
panic."
stay calm.
They were like, "No need to panic. Everything's good."
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. That was funny.
So initially it wasn't locked up. Initially, Ed kept the doll in his office. Um,
Dude, okay, wait. So this man,
yeah,
a demonologist,
yeah.
thought it was a good idea to keep this doll in his office
Yep.
without any sort of
Just on like a
protection.
stool next to him.
Like, what? Like, I'm sorry. I'm
He
sorry. I'm sorry
reported
to say this, but that's so stupid. Like, that is so
yeah.
stupid.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god.
He
Okay.
reported it levitating several times, moved around the room, and even moved around the house after they locked it in a room.
Um, this okay, so I'm really sorry. So these demonologists were like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, we're not
world
gonna put it."
famous.
There was a bug. I'm sorry. It took
Oh,
me off
okay, I
guard.
was like, what are you?
Um,
Don't scare me like that.
no, it was a bug in it. Okay,
Okay,
sorry. Anyways, these world famous demonologists, their
yeah,
job is demonology.
yeah,
They do this for a living, and they didn't think it was a good idea to maybe put some sort of extra protection around this doll, especially after the first time it moved.
gets
I mean,
worse.
I mean, okay, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to say this because they are really good at their jobs, but are they stupid? Like, I'm sorry to say, but like, isn't this common sense that you want some sort of layer of extra protection on this
it
demon
it
doll?
it gets worse.
Oh my god, okay.
Okay, now this next part, you can try to debunk it all you want.
Okay,
All I'm gonna say is
okay,
that it's just a little too coincidental that the events happened one after the other.
okay, I'm ready.
So, one day, a priest named Father Mark came
Yep,
over to talk to the Warrens, and he
okay,
saw the doll.
okay.
He picked up the doll after hearing the story and said, "You're just a rag doll, Annabelle. You can't hurt anybody."
Oh no, okay, taunting it. Good idea. Okay.
On his way back to the rectory, his brakes had failed and nearly been killed in a car accident.
Oh my god, kind of like what happened to the Warrens on their way home.
Except the doll was not in the car with him.
Oh, but he's like, but the demon thingy is not attached to the doll, so it can technically leave it, right? And follow somebody else and then
I
just come
don't
back to the doll,
know.
right?
I don't know how it works exactly.
I don't know how it works either, but like I feel like if it's not possessed to the doll, it could technically leave, right? I guess.
So
Theoretically.
who's
I don't know.
who so what stopped him from leaving before they locked it up?
What do you mean?
What stopped the demon from leaving the doll before they locked the doll up?
Okay, here's I don't know,
If the demon
maybe.
could just leave,
But isn't it, even though it's locked up, doesn't
feel like
doesn't this happen to other people as well?
I think I don't know. I really it's just one of those things where it's like okay, it could be a coincidence, but like is it really a coincidence? I don't know because
Here's
just
okay, so here's my theory. I think that the demon is like attached to the doll, so it has to come back, but it can leave temporarily and attach itself to other people. But it has to come back to the doll because that's its main form or conduit, I guess.
okay.
So, like,
That's actually pretty good.
even after it gets locked up, because I believe I've heard stories of people, like, taunting it even though it's locked up and then ending up in accidents.
And that's the thing, yeah.
So, I think it can temporarily leave, but especially with the box being there, it's got significantly less power,
Mhm.
so it can't do, like, as much as it could. It
Yeah.
has to come back to the doll, it can't stay away from it for long.
Mhm.
At least that's my theory.
Yeah. So another case, a police officer had come by to meet Ed. Ed had to go upstairs and told the officer to feel free to look around, but do not touch anything.
Oh god, does this idiot touch something?
Like, don't push the big red button. What
Oh
does he do?
god.
He touches it. No. After
Oh
a
god.
while, after a while, the officer came running upstairs, all scared, and when asked what happened, he said, "The doll, the rag doll is real."
Oh god, what did he see?
I don't know.
Oh, man. Oh, you can't just leave me hanging like that. I need to know specifics.
Chantal, I couldn't find it in any other research.
Maybe this man was like, "Oh, everybody's gonna think I'm crazy, so I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut."
Maybe. Who knows? Finally, the Warrens had a special case built for Annabelle, which she's still locked into in to this day, despite the rumors during COVID. So Lorraine said, "quote um, at at least um, as least as it sits, we know where it resides. It isn't out into the world causing harm to others. We have a Catholic priest who performs a binding prayer around the doll, which acts as a blockade. For this of it as similar to an electric dog fence, keeping the dog within set boundaries." End quote.
Oh,
How
that's interesting.
Yeah. However, this hasn't seemed to stop the entity. One day, a young man went to the occult museum, which is their museum in their house, where they have
Mhm.
all of their occult stuff and collections, where Annabelle is kept, and um, challenged it, yelling at it to put scratches on him.
Are these people stupid? I'm sorry, but, like, don't
Ed,
tempt fate,
yeah,
you know?
Ed quickly ushered him out. The man was laughing about the doll with his girlfriend while riding his bike home. He lost control of the bike, killing him and putting his girlfriend in the hospital for a year.
I think that was the one that I heard about.
Yeah, yeah,
But also, if you think about it, because I think it was you said it was Lorraine Warren who has said that quote, right?
yeah.
She said it was kind of like putting a, like, electric fence around a dog, right? Like, kind of
Hmm.
like a shock collar. If the dog is angry enough or motivated enough, that shock collar's not gonna do much. If the demon was angry enough,
Or,
it would take its anger out and then come back, you know?
or the fence loses its charge eventually.
Yeah, that's true. Because
Maybe
they
it
said that they
was.
had they had to priest come back regularly to redo it, right?
Yep, yep.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
got all chills with this story.
why 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 would you tempt fate like that? Like, even if you don't believe, like, I can understand that there's people who are skeptical, everybody has
Hmm.
different beliefs. Some people don't believe in ghosts, but why tempt fate? You know, why tempt
That's
it?
a great question. A question that I don't want to know the answer to because I don't want to tempt fate.
Yeah, I don't wanna tempt fate either.
I'm not of that, you know. That's
Yeah,
not me.
right? I'm very rational with some things, but I'm still like, I'm not gonna tempt fate about it. Like, I mean, as you
Mhm.
know, like, I'm always rational about sleep paralysis, and I'm always rational where I'm like, "Okay, can this sound be debunked? If not, you know,
Yeah.
if there's, like
It's
if there's nothing else it could be, there's a possibility it's a ghost
and
or a demon."
the other thing too is how many of those things happen one after the other within a
Exactly.
short period of time.
And answering, like, maybe specific questions that you've asked. Like,
Yes.
I'm always skeptical because 'cause I'm like, I wanna be sure that what I'm
Mhm.
hearing is what I'm hearing and not something else, you know?
Shiver.
So, I always try to be as rational as possible, but there's a lot of
Mhm.
things still that you can't really explain.
It's yeah,
And
and
then there are some things that are coincidences that are too coincidental to be, like,
a
coincidences,
coincidence.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Coincidences that are too coincidental to be coincidences. Yeah.
Coincidences, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Annabelle makes appearances in the Conjuring universe as
Yep,
notably,
I've watched all the movies except for the Nun 2 because I haven't gotten around
well,
to
it's the
seeing it
newest
yet.
one that came out
Yeah,
as of recording this.
yeah.
Including Annabelle, which came out in 2014, Annabelle Creation 2017. And Annabelle comes home from 2019 and
Yeah.
even appears in Aquaman and
She
Shazam.
appears in Aquaman?
Yeah, so there's a point in the movie, and I know where it is. There's a point in the movie
Okay.
where they're going through like this subterranean area, and on like the
Okay.
bottom of the ocean floor, you just see the little Annabelle there.
Oh my god, that's actually hilarious.
Yeah,
Oh god, does that mean
I
I
don't
have
know
to
where it is in
rewatch the
Shazam.
movie to see it?
I think so. I think so.
Ah,
And that brings our story for tonight to a close.
I
It
mean, to
was,
be fair, I don't hate the Aquaman movie. It's just there's so much drama that happened that I'm like, oh, you know?
yeah. But that's
Maybe I'll find the specific point and find like a clip of it on
yeah,
YouTube
like I
because
said, I don't remember
I
exactly
wanna
where.
see I wanna see I wanna see this little doll at the bottom of
Just a
the
little
ocean.
doll. Could you imagine though that's what they did with it? They like just tossed it in the ocean, that was it. The deepest, darkest point in the ocean.
But also, it's a Raggedy Ann doll. I don't think it would sink. It would float.
Unless they tied rocks to it.
I mean, even then, it would eventually, like, disintegrate, right?
Yeah.
And
Then
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 it
where
would
does the
just
demon go?
dissipate.
Into our water system.
We're drinking the demon.
We're drinking the tea. Anyways,
Oh god.
that is it for today. That was our story for tonight.
That was,
I
um that was actually really spooky, despite me being, like, kinda skeptical of a lot of
But
things.
here's the thing, and we've heard the
It
story
was very
multiple
spooky.
times before, but like when you hear the details of it,
It gets
and
spooky.
it does get really creepy and really
It's
spooky.
creepy because 'cause you're
Yeah.
like, "I don't know what I would do if that actually happened to me. Because you try to be as rational as
That's
possible,
always the
but
question
at
when you're
some point, your
yeah.
fear kinda takes over, right?
Yeah.
So you stop being rational,
But and that's the question, like you don't know what it's like to be in that situation because you've never been in that situation. Because it's
right?
so easy for people like in haunted houses, it's so easy for people to say, "Well, why don't you just move?" But
Right,
like
but you might not have the
you might
resources
not
to do that.
financially be able to move.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And as soon as people find out that your house is haunted, the market value of that house drops significantly.
Yeah,
And you're not going to be able to get any money back from that.
right,
Anyways,
right.
so that's our story for today. Thank you for listening slash watching. Please share, subscribe, like, and um, uh, if you have any creepy doll stories, leave them in the comments below. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
maybe one
try to.
day we'll go through and read if there's any creepy doll
That
stories,
would
we'll
be
go through
really
and look
fun.
at
Yeah. If you guys have listener stories, I would love to like one day like cumulate a whole bunch of them and just do one episode
You
on
mean
that.
compile?
Yeah, that thing.
I don't know what word you
I
said.
don't know
I've never
either.
heard it before. But
Listen, it's really late. It's really late and I was up at 5:30 this morning to go to
yeah,
work.
I literally took a nap and your text woke me up. I, like, woke up and it was like I was like, "Oh my god,
At
what year
least you
is it? What
took a
time is
nap. At least you took a
what
nap.
time is it?" I was, like, so lost, I was so confused, and I was trying to read your text message and I kept hitting the wrong, like,
Yeah.
buttons. I think I sent you, like, a thumbs up emoji at some point. I don't
You
think I meant
did.
to do that. I
You
didn't mean to
did.
do that. I was so out of it. I was trying to, like, text you, but it wasn't working.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Anyways, that was our show for today. Like, share, subscribe. Go onto our website and like send us your stories if you have any stories, or if you have any topic ideas for future episodes, please send them our way and make sure that you put in the subject line what it's for so that we can be more organized. Um, and until next time, toodles.
Toodles.